It is November. The temperature has dropped below freezing. The last berries are gone. The animals have scattered or buried themselves underground. And you are standing at the mouth of a cave with no coat, no fire that will last, no stored food, and no plan that has ever worked before. This is the problem every human being on Earth faced for most of our existence. Not climate change. Not recession. Winter. And for a long time, we assumed we knew how they survived it. They hunted through the cold. They foraged what little was left. They huddled together and waited for spring, eating whatever they could find, slowly burning through their body fat, sometimes starving, sometimes not. That is the story we told ourselves. But the bones tell a different story. In the mountains of northern Spain, inside a cave called Cima de los Huesos, researchers found the fossilized remains of at least 28 ancient humans who lived around 400,000 years ago. They were not modern humans. They were closer to Neanderthals, but they were us enough. Scientists spent years studying those bones, and they noticed something strange. The bones had stopped growing. Not because the individuals died, they lived on. But every year, at the same time of year, their bone growth simply paused, for months, and then started again. Researchers Antonis Bartziocas and Juan Luis Arzuaga published their findings in the journal L'Anthropology. Their conclusion was extraordinary. The damage patterns in those bones matched one thing almost exactly. Bears. Cave bears, specifically. Animals that hibernate. Animals that slow their metabolism to almost nothing, drop their body temperature, and sleep through the winter in a state somewhere between alive and not. The bones of those ancient humans look like the bones of animals that do the same thing. And when you think about winter 400,000 years ago, it starts to make a terrible kind of sense. There was nothing to eat, not a little less than usual, almost nothing. The plants were gone. The insects were gone. The animals had migrated south or buried themselves or were too dangerous to hunt in the dark and cold. A human being burns roughly 2,000 calories a day just existing. In deep winter, finding 2,000 calories was nearly impossible. The only way to survive was to need less. And the only way to need less was to slow down. Not metaphorically, physically. There is a state the body can enter under extreme cold and caloric restriction that sits somewhere between sleep and hibernation. Your heart rate drops, your breathing slows, your body temperature falls, your metabolism throttles down to almost nothing. You do not exactly sleep, but you do not exactly live either. You wait. It is worth being honest about what we do not know. These bones are 400,000 years old. We cannot ask those people what winter was like. We cannot be certain the lesions have only one explanation. Some researchers think the growth interruptions could have other causes. Illness, famine without hibernation, long periods of inactivity that fell short of a true metabolic slowdown. But the pattern is consistent, and it matches what we see in hibernating animals with unusual precision. What we know for certain is this: those winters were brutal beyond anything in living memory. And the humans who survived them did not do it with better tools or smarter strategies. They did it with their bodies, the same bodies we have. Think about that the next time you feel tired in November. The same pull toward sleep, toward warmth, toward stillness. That is not laziness. That is 400,000 years of instructions, still running. The cave was not just shelter. It was the only strategy left.